All right, what is going on, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their Saturday. Probably going to end up posting this on Saturday evening. Thank you very much for hanging out, being a part of the show. I had a couple things I kind of wanted to hit on here based off last night's game. Yesterday, obviously, final preseason game for the Lakers. I had a couple of topics I still want to get into, and I'll probably get more into this during the season whenever I feel like there's a topic to get into, and I don't want to wait till Monday. Then we'll talk about it. I always feel like there's opportunities to throw some content up over the weekend. So appreciate you guys being here. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. Would greatly appreciate that. And then feel free to chime in with any comments that you guys have based on the topics that I have here. And then I'll be happy to use some of those comments for the show coming up on Monday. Okay. Preseason's over. I got two topics that I want to get into. Won't be a long video, maybe 10, 15 minutes, something along those lines, just to get these specific topics out of the way. Here are the two topics. Is Gabe Vincent starting on Tuesday on opening night? And I want to give some love to Marcus Smart for what he was able to do yesterday. And I think probably just get Laker fans excited about the old Marcus Smart that we're accustomed to. Let's start with this one. There's a few things I want to read into. It kind of was, I was very curious going into last night's game because I just had no idea the starting lineup that the Lakers were going to throw out there for yesterday's dress rehearsal, as they like to call it, final tune-up game, however you want to label that game. I didn't think we were going to see Gabe Vincent in there. So I thought this was going to be, all right, yeah, Jared Vanderbilt. Yep, makes sense. Makes all the sense in the world. Maybe they say Marcus Smart. I've heard a lot of people think that, hey, he should be into the starting lineup. You could have thrown a few different names out there. Maybe Jake LaRavia. I didn't think it was going to be Gabe Vincent. And a couple of things I want to do here. There are some quotes that came from the post-game show yesterday. Talking obviously about Gabe Vincent, JJ Redick still not, being very, very open and clear about who his starting lineup is going to be, which is fine. I think that's just his strategy. That's what he's rolling with. I'm fine with it. We're going to find out on Tuesday. And maybe honestly, maybe he just doesn't even know yet either. He didn't know LeBron wasn't going to start the season, and he's trying to figure things out. And it could be a case-by-case basis. But let's just kind of play this out here real quick. This is what Gabe Vincent has done so far in preseason. I said this yesterday on the post-game show. Thank you to everybody that has been tuning into the post-game shows as well. Trust me, those will get more entertaining, more fun, more enjoyable once we get to the regular season. But got to get through the preseason, and we did that. This is what Gabe Vincent has done so far in preseason basketball. 16 points per game, average 22 minutes per game, 55% from the three-point line, and 47% from the field. That's what Gabe Vincent has done so far in preseason. I think it's safe to say of all the different storylines that came out during the preseason, and many of them I would say not necessarily positive stuff. I mean, I think I have at least the feeling that I'm getting from a lot of Laker fans is there's definitely some, hey, what is this team? Are they going to be able to play enough defense? Some of them not really sold on DeAndre Ayton. Some of them not sold on this Lakers roster. Okay, everybody's entitled to have an opinion right now. The season hasn't started. And if some of that, if most fans right now are pessimistic, that's okay. That's fair. But one of the positive storylines that I've pulled out of preseason basketball was, hey, Gabe Vincent has looked pretty good. He's had some games where he's hitting a ton of threes or he's just firing away. But I think of all the games, I think his game last night is what got me most excited. I'll tell you what I mean by that. And I grabbed just a couple of clips here from YouTube, which I could kind of play in the background. But for me, the reason why last night was more important to me than the other games is I don't really care if Gabe Vincent is doing something and Luka's not there and AR is not there and some of these other players, because we know that Gabe Vincent, when the regular season starts, God bless the man, but they're not going to run plays for him, at least for the most part. He's not going to have the ball in his hands and make decisions for the most part. So if he's going to be able to, obviously be effective for the Lakers, he's got to be able to do it with other stars out there, other key players for the Lakers. This is a play yesterday. I'm going to show two plays from Gabe Vincent yesterday. Here's one, and we'll just kind of let it play in the background. First, a defensive play, not settling for a jumper, getting to the basket and getting a layup. All right, that's him on the defensive side. And here's another angle for Gabe Vincent. Look at that pass to Jackson Hayes. The only thing I care about both of these plays here, and, there's a couple other plays here, but not necessarily Gabe Vincent related. This is the defensive play I was talking about. Pickpockets a guy, goes all the way to the basket, gets a layup. And then on the other possession, very unselfish basketball. I got you. I got the roll. Hey, I've been hitting threes. I could fire away right now. Nope. He sees what the defense does. They collapse on him, and he makes a move right there as well. I think that's just beautiful basketball from Gabe Vincent. More than anything else, this is the thing that matters to me. Can he be effective with Luka Doncic on the floor? Can he be effective with Austin Reeves on the floor? Can he make the right decision and be a facilitator when he needs to be? Will he hit that big shot when he needs to or when the Lakers need him to? And can Luka be very confident in his play? I got a couple of quotes that I want to read from the game yesterday, post-game, that I'm going to read for you guys real quick. Dave McMenamin put a story out on ESPN. We know that we're not 100% sure who the starting lineup is going to be. JJ Redick is not showing his card. There's a couple things here. One is what Gabe Vincent said, how he found out that he was going to be the starting guard for the Lakers yesterday. He said, I think I just bring what I've been doing since I've been here, just defending, try to defend at a high level, play make when I have opportunities, space the floor while Luka and Austin Reeves are creating for themselves or are creating themselves. That's why I talk about when I mention it, how it's so important, how he looks and what he does while those two guys are on the floor. They're going to dominate the ball. So can you be effective if you don't have the ball in your hands? We could all go back and think about when the Lakers signed Gabe Vincent and he was in Miami and he had that great playoff run, then signs a 3-year, $33 million deal. To be honest with you, in today's NBA, it's not like that's a crazy contract or anything, but there was some real hope for him. And I hate looking back to his time in Miami. I can only look at his time in LA. And his first 2 years, there really hasn't been a moment where I felt, oh my gosh, Gabe Vincent, he's killing it. He's consistent. They're depending on him. But maybe this year, the final year of his contract, he kind of, pays for himself a little bit and shows that he can be an effective player. Now, whether he's a starter or not, I don't know what's going to happen, but I did think that was news yesterday that they used him as a starter. Here's what JJ Redick said after the game in regards to the starting lineup. I don't know anything about who I'm going to be starting the rest of the season because, again, these injuries or there's injuries and there's things that happen throughout a year. I have a pretty good idea who's going to start game one. After that, I don't know. But I do think in that lineup, there's a lot of shooting around Luka and DA, and Gabe is another ball handler, another tough defender. So he's talking specifically about what Gabe Vincent obviously brings to the table. He says, I think he fits in well, but you have to take a look at every matchup we play against and have to make a decision there. Luka, by the way, gave him a compliment as well, just saying that he liked the way he plays and the way he spaces the floor. And I think he read his stat line. What did he shoot from three? And he was killing it yesterday from three. Here's what I think is going to happen. Here's my honest opinion of what's going to happen. I think he's going to start on Tuesday, just based off of them using him in this situation. I think there's probably some influence from some of the other players. Luka, what do you want in the starting lineup with you? You want another shooter? Because if it's Jared Vanderbilt, who I lean towards, well, Vando's also going to be on, especially a team like the Golden State Warriors, they're going to leave that dude so wide open on every possession. Obviously he's going to have a lot of space and what they do. And as great as he's going to be on the defensive side, he will be a liability on the offensive end. I'd rather have more defense, but that's just me speaking. I think what JJ Redick said here we really, really got to pay attention to. He said, you have to take a look at every matchup we play against and have to make a decision there. I think what he's saying right there is Gabe Vincent's probably going to start some games, but there's also going to be other games. It just doesn't make sense for me to go that small. My concern with Gabe Vincent in the starting lineup is there's not enough size. That would be my concern. My concern would be Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Luka Doncic, where your rebounds coming from. Because we all know that Rui Hachimura, he's lucky to have, if he has 4 rebounds in a game, I feel like he's Dennis Rodman. And then DeAndre Ayton will try to pull some down. And of course, you're going to get rebounding from Luka Doncic because he's able to do that. But I don't know if you have enough size there. That's my hesitation with starting Gabe Vincent. But if you say, hey, the Lakers are playing the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday, can you start Gabe in a game like that where it's not about the size, that it is more guard driven, that there probably won't be these awful matchups based on, again, bigs? Now, if you're playing the Denver Nuggets, probably a different story. If you're playing the Houston Rockets, probably a different story. If you're playing the San Antonio Spurs, I'm just thinking of teams, the Dallas Mavericks. There are certain teams out there that definitely have size. You're probably not going to start Gabe Vincent in a game with Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, like all these guys with size. That's probably not going to happen. So does he start on Tuesday? Maybe. Last night's game was an indication of that. But is that going to be your starting lineup long term? Probably not. And I think that makes sense. I think that makes more sense, saying that we got to kind of figure this out game to game, piece it together. We're still trying to figure it out as we go, and then they'll figure it out from there. So Gabe Vincent has made a case for himself to be in the starting lineup, and he may get that opportunity on Tuesday. You guys can chime in on this. Do you like the idea? Do you think he should be starting? What are the positives? What are the negatives? Is this just kind of a case-by-case basis? So feel free to put it in the comments. But I thought that was a good topic right there. Okay, other thing I want to get into. This, my friends, is why I felt like the Los Angeles Lakers signed Marcus Smart. When I think of Marcus Smart, this is what I think of. Here's a play from yesterday's game. This makes me think of the days. Go if you want to go see some Marcus Smart all over the place on the defensive side. Go type in Marcus Smart Boston Celtics diving all over the floor. You're going to see a lot of highlights. One of my favorite things when I see some of these athletes. Here's Marcus Smart yesterday. All right, there's Marcus Smart diving all over the ball, gets the loose ball, finds a way to tip it, and I know it hits a couple of different players and then eventually ends up in Austin Reeves' hands. I love that type of basketball. Just absolutely love that type of basketball. A guy like Marcus Smart, I think to have him on this Lakers team and to hope that he can be some type of version of what he was in the past, what he's been in with the Boston Celtics that we've talked about and everything else. It's a beautiful game the way he played the game. I just thought it was refreshing yesterday, and it was really, really nice to see Marcus Smart have a good game. And I'm sure for Marcus Smart, it felt nice. I'm going to read some quotes that he has as well. It felt nice for him to look up at that box score and say, all right, you know what? It's been a second since I've got some real minutes, some real action. I feel healthy. I feel good. He had 14 points yesterday with 4 steals. The only thing I'd say with Marcus Smart that I hope he doesn't run into is I just don't want him to be too reliant from the 3-point line. Took 8 threes yesterday. I don't want him to be too reliant on that. Here's what Marcus Smart said after the game. As I have this ad completely cover my quote. I feel great. That first game is always a little tough. You're just trying to get your feet under you and figure things out and use that time to get used to playing with your teammates. Got that game out of the way. Felt really good. Today was a little bit more aggressive. So each day constantly just ramping it up. The season is here in 3 days. So felt great out there and going to continue to get better. So if Marcus Smart feels good and he's happy with, his performance and how he feels, then I'm good to go as well. I'll read one more quote here. He said, "This is probably the best I felt since I got here. As I continue to get better and get to 100%, you'll see more nights like tonight where I'm aggressive and I'm moving very well and just energy on both sides of the floor. I'm close." So that, in my opinion, is really, really good news if you're a Laker fan. And I think for everybody out there that is, obviously excited to see the signing of Marcus Smart, I think that's critical. I think it's important. So really nice to see Marcus Smart last night and see what he was able to do. Can he build off of it? I know, guys. I don't want to make too big of a deal off preseason basketball, but a lot of people made a big deal after that first game when he had 0 points in 20 minutes. So if you're going to make a big deal about it and say that this guy is washed, he's done after a preseason game where he didn't do anything, I'll make a little bit of a big deal about Marcus Smart having a nice game yesterday and seeing him all over the place, defense, offense, 4 steals. Preseason or not, 4 steals is a lot of steals in the NBA. So it was great to see that from Marcus Smart yesterday as well. Hopefully he can be kind of one of those game changers for the Lakers on the roster this year. We'll see if that happens. Okay, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to get those 2 topics in here. Is Gabe Vincent going to be starting on Tuesday? Talk a little bit about what he's done in the preseason, make a little bit of a case for him. And then I want to give some love to Marcus Smart for what he was able to do yesterday. And hopefully he's got some momentum going into the regular season as well. Back on Monday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you for being a part of the show. Appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. And I will see you Monday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you, everybody.